Hello everybody, welcome to Discussing Tabletop for December 15th, 2018. I hope everyone's having a great day. Once again, Joe is joining. And once again, we are going to be talking about the tabletop news plus more. So today is we're going to talk about Yonder the Darkest Side, probably butchering that one. Talk about passing through Knock, Ghostbusters the card, the Techno Noir, the RPG. Here's Negan the board game, Highland board game, and then we're going to go into our regular segments, which is with deeper discussions where we review a number of board games that we've had a chance to talk out and let you know about them. Our Kickstarter Korner, where we support some starters that are on kind of give you suggestions on things you might want to check out. Our Weekend Tabletop, where we talk about what we've been doing, and finally where you can ask us any nerdy question that you want to out there. Let's start with the week though. Some Yonder the Darkest Bar. It's all of a mouthful, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So yeah. Modifius has put it out again. Wyrm, if you're not as aware with it, is a dark fantasy. You know, the easiest way of talking about. Of course, I believe it's a 2d20 system because most of Modifius's ones 2d20. If I'm doing this
most
correctly.
of them are. Now, the interesting thing, I don't think it wasn't a Modifius game. I don't believe.
Mine.
It came from Sweden. They originally did have a Kickstarter.
Oh yeah. I think
English.
Yeah, I think Modifius picked it up as the more of a publisher in that case.
Yeah, I think they picked it up. They picked to do the basic version of it.
Yeah.
Because I found Kickstarter Page as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're pretty good at putting together a lot of these games. Because remember, it's one of those weird like you them as like a producer, but they're more a publisher. It seems like at times, because they put together the they were Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition.
Right.
That means that definitely they're doing a lot of both, you know.
Because originally this was a Swedish game a while, and then they decided to go English. Trying to see when the original Kickstarter started. Go ahead and speak. I will do that research.
That's easier said than done, I was going to say.
Oh. Okay.
Well, Yandros is apparently the heart of the Ambrian realm, and the epic for three of the books that are out. This is a research that's good for both players, game masters. It describes the setting, rules, and presents the epic event. The epic event of like how your character pitted against them. So if you're doing the Chronicles of the Throne of Thrones. Oh my god. Sometimes names hurt my brain because it's the Throne of Thrones. It makes sense in a way.
What did you sit on this throne? A throne?
Well, I mean, I think it's supposed to be like
King of Kings kind of thing. Yes.
Yeah.
I get it, but it just kind of sounds funny.
It sounds kind of stupid.
The Throne of Thrones.
Well, apparently they also have 20 establishments you can it. Yeah. It's bars. It's the traditional RPG the bar. So
the game originally came out in Swedish July 2014.
Okay. Who's the people behind it?
I'm getting that information.
I mean, I can try to look it up too because
I can put the link in chat.
Kickstarter. The original Kickstarter.
Original Kickstarter page.
Star is there, and Yarringen.
This is actually third set of a series. I read here. Created by, I'm going to pronounce this wrong.
Yarringen. Yeah, Yarringen or Yarringen.
Jarnringen.
Like an umlaut on there too, or something.
Yes, there's an umlaut over, or whatever it's called, over the A, the double dot over the A.
Well, it's an umlaut in German. I have no idea what it is in like Swedish.
Yeah, here. Boom. That's how it's pronounced.
Woo!
Oh, yeah, it has the little thing there. Yay. For people who want to know more information and don't want our horrible translations of Swedish, there's the proper spelling.
It will be bad. So I feel like Modifius probably
looks interesting too.
Oh no, they do a very good job of capturing dark fantasy a lot. Symbaroum is definitely one of those interesting what was I going to say? Not products, systems that would be cool to try out. You know?
Yeah, I think Symbaroum is the Yandros is the main system, and Symbaroum is the third generation of what they've done. If I read that correctly.
If you were confused enough correctly. I mean, come on. Some of these things, it's hard to tell. And Modifius, it's hard to tell where they work as a publisher and where they work as a producer.
That's why when I found the original page, I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it can just, be very difficult to see the exact cutoff point. But
yes.
Anyway, no, this is cool. I like how they're expanding their world. I think we've talked about Symbaroum before. It's a very interesting one because, I mean, nowadays we are seeing more attempts to get into the dark fantasy as a genre, but I feel like with our talking about it, this is one of those originals, especially because it is like a older system technically. We kind of like to look at it. It has had time to it before like this RPG revolution that's kind of hit us at this point in time.
I found the maker's website.
Oh, goody.
Let me see. Okay, here, I can post in here, and there is an English version of their website, because their website's also in Swedish, because it's from Sweden. But this is the English version of their website.
Ooh. So, yeah.
Apparently they actually have a bunch of different games they've done.
So, what I'm thinking is that might be the...
Oh, they're the ones who did Tales from the Loop.
And Mutant Year Zero. All which are published by Modifius. So I think that the best way to say it is they're probably a subsidiary of Modifius. Even though the exact corporate structure, maybe that isn't true. Right. But effectively...
Or they could be they could be partnered with them to produce their stuff in English.
Mm-hmm. A lot of their stuff that they do goes through Modifius for it. And Modifius is a European company, so it makes sense that,
Oh, yeah, true. I forgot Modifius was a European
I think they actually are Swedish, anyway.
Oh, okay, so maybe they act like a publishing house, maybe they are partnered, it's hard to say.
Mm-hmm. It really is. And it's impossible to... what's like Modifius, you technically were probably pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah. It'd be nice if maybe one year they'll show up at one of the conventions we go to and we could actually talk to them about it.
What was like...
say, how do you pronounce yourselves?
God. It's kind of like the fact that like the we're at there And the one company was like, yeah, this is our first American convention because they're from England. And I'm like, wow. Uh-huh. Thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you for sailing across the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Or flying, most likely.
Oh, boy.
Because no one normally takes a boat trip from England anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Especially not to do a con.
Oh, my God. It's a vacation if they do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry. As I'm eating, something got caught in my throat. Because I'm trying to snack here.
See what you get for trying to live.
Look! Food was created and offered to me right before the stream started. And it's pretty good. It could be crunchier. It's like a hash with peppers and onions. But it's kind of squishy hash, but that's fine. Could have been crunchier. It's still tasty. Anyway, let's move on.
Just like our next topic is tasty.
Passing through Petra.
Very tasty. Everyone loves to eat Petra. No?
No? Probably not? So it's Renegade Game Studios. Oh God, Renegade. I know that we've seen stuff on them, and I'm trying to think of all the things they've done that we have played. Off the top of my head. Dang it.
Yeah, I can look stuff up.
Please,
if you want to continue talking.
Yeah, so Passing Through Petra, as I'm trying to set up also the image for everyone to see here, is a small board/card game. I think it's probably more card game than board game, the usual kind of thing.
Yeah.
But still. Petra was a very important area for caravans and stuff. So that's what it's all about, is being like on a caravan and a travel route through the old world city of Petra in the rose-colored cliffs.
They were actually at PAX. I
know they were at PAX. I think I spoke to
Clank.
them.
Clank is one of the well-known ones they've done.
Clank.
I don't think we've actually done Clank. I wanted to try it for a while. Dragon's Horde. I'm trying to think of ones that we may have actually played that I'm seeing, but
yeah, it's like trying to come.
I can send you a link if you need it.
Well, I've gotten to the rest of their.
Oh, okay.
I can get to the rest of their site through their thing here.
Lanterns. We haven't played that. I think we've seen a bunch of games from them and maybe have talked about it, but I don't know if we've actually played any.
Okay, they did Kids on Bike. That's maybe why I know them, because I was talking to Kids on Bike people, and that was Renegade, and I didn't even realize it was Renegade. But there might be also more things that they've done that we've actually
I'm looking at their full store, but I don't think we've actually played any. We may have talked about some of these.
I've talked with some people about Kids on Bikes, too. And definitely we might have talked about a few more of these. Oh, most definitely. But, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think we've actually played anything from.
And I think company. I did talk to them about some stuff at their booth, but my brain, because I talked to a lot of people, is definitely, and I think it might have been even newer stuff that they were working on beyond Kids on Bikes, because Kids on Bikes was kind of separate, and Outbreak Undead. I was talking to them about them, but no, I think I didn't talk to them about some other stuff. Probably, maybe, sort of. So, but those were two of the things I did discuss with them, which, I mean, it's more of a review that, anyway, there it is.
Yeah, it looks like they've actually worked with other creators, too. Like, they did a game called World's Fair, apparently, 1893, with another publisher called Foxtrot.
All right, so
it looks like they co-create as well.
Yeah. So Passing Through Petra, you're a powerful citizen, growing settlement and reputation, and caravans pass through your canyons. You welcome the traders to your market, facilitate trade, and get your hands on valuable wells. And you're using those transactions to spread your influence, gain unique benefits, and basically become the most powerful leader in Petra.
Okay, they also did another game that we were talking about today.
Oh, really? What?
The Ghostbusters card game.
Oh, they're the Ghostbusters card game also.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I just looked at their coming soon thing and saw that. I'm like, that's on the docket today.
It should technically be out, question mark.
Yeah, well, on their site it still says coming soon.
Might not have updated it, but it also might be like one of those releases where it's like going to actual stores and not like, you know...
Well, it says buy here.
So, yes. Anyway, so that seems like an interesting one. The idea of market management kind of things is something that's not new. I don't think you could say, because we've had plenty of games that, you know, you're kind of running a market, but the idea that, you know, maybe it's like, maybe the cards will tell you the trade caravans. So you're beholden to the trade caravans and a little bit of random chance as to what's coming into the area. And then you effectively, everyone competes for control of those caravans as much as they can. So maybe you want to push to get more control over a caravan because of whatever you've been setting up. While on the other hand, another player might be like, well, that's not going to help me a lot. Maybe.
Right. It's like, I'm in the spice trade. They're bringing fabric. Mm-hmm. I'm not interested in fabric.
But you might want to get into fabric to mess with the person that is into fabric, who's to dick with them. Usual for these type of games.
I'm stealing your silk. Mwahahaha.
My silk now. It looks so pretty.
And it tastes good with fabric. Or it tastes good with spices.
Thank you. Tastes good with fabric.
Oh, God.
That was a very good one. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I know how you love to chew on fabric.
I'm just gonna like walk away from this one because I don't know where to go with this one.
I don't know either. I was just trying to throw it back at you.
Anyway, so passing through Petra is out now, so we can check it out.
Did it officially release?
It
says available now on the page I'm on. This is weird. Renegade Games has it as available now, but then also, if you look at their website under coming soon, it's coming soon. Oh, they haven't updated it for a little while because it says passing through Petra coming soon December 12th.
Yeah, so there you go. It came out a couple of days ago.
And Ghostbusters isn't coming out until December 19th, so it's almost out. Okay.
Yeah, I think that one I might have just put on here because it was like releasing. It's available
in 4 days.
It might be also. It seems like it's available in certain locations and things like that. So
they could have had early release to stores or something.
Yeah, so you probably could have get that from their site because they like their local game store support. Woo! I mean, not that I can complain about the local game store support at all. Anyway, so Renegade Game Studios passing through Petra. It's available now. That one's your one you can easily get. Let's continue on, though.
Do we want to go to Ghostbusters next since it's the same company?
Sure, you know, why not? We can skip around a little bit. We'll go talk about Ghostbusters, the card game.
Just because I think it flows better.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's Ghostbusters. I mean, you're not going to, like, have a complaint about Ghostbusters. 2 to 5 players. It's a cooperative game since you're all working together to, you know, catch the ghosts.
The interesting thing, I think, is the artwork. It's almost halfway between the movie and, like, the real Ghostbusters cartoon show.
Yes, I agree.
It's not quite the Ghostbusters cartoon show. They look a little bit more like the movie, but in some ways they kind of look like that. So it's like a weird, interesting combination of the two.
No, yeah, I agree on that. It does have like a uniqueness to its artwork that it's a little bit more cartoony than even like the original, like the old real Ghostbusters cartoon. I would think.
Well, when you look at some of the cards, is more where I'm seeing it, like with like the angry poltergeist and stuff like that. They kind of remind me of some of the creatures that were on the cartoon and some of their design.
Okay, yeah, I can give you that. That they're very influenced by it. No, I can see that. That they have a heavier influence on by the cartoon.
Yeah, beware, some animated lips may attack you.
Yeah, they definitely do have more of the like, it's a weird feeling, like, for the art. It's an interesting design choice. Not a bad one, but a very interesting one.
No, it's like I said, it's kind of halfway between the cartoon and the actual movie.
So, it's all about work. I think it's like, it sounds like it's friendly competition. Though,
yeah, you take up to 2 actions on your turn. Either played or discarded an action. For each action you choose, when you play an action card, you carry its effect and then discard it. When you discard an action card, place it in the discard pile and draw a new action card. And then if you have ghosts, you play their abilities.
So you're sort of working together for capturing ghosts, but you also want to score the most points. That makes it feel like the one game mode in, like, Castle Panic, where you're frenemies because you're all trying to stay at the castle, but whoever gets the most points also gets the best glory, kind of thing, you know?
Right.
So it feels a little like that. My question
is, who are you going to call?
Oh, Orcan Man.
What? For ghosts?
Oh, yeah. He's an exterminator.
He's not a ghost exterminator.
How do you know?
What, do you have ghost roaches?
Maybe. Or ghost termites. And maybe his abilities work on normal ones. Mm-hmm. Have we ever thought of that?
Yes, but when you say who you're going to call, it's not the Orcan Man.
It is now.
That's like Bob from accounting. We're going to call Bob.
Look, at least I went for an exterminator rather than Bob, who's just in accounting.
Hey, he can board the ghosts away.
I don't know. Bob has some interesting conversations. Have you ever talked to Bob in accounting?
Yes. He's just going to quote, like, accounting records and stuff until you lose interest in haunting your house. Leave.
Does it work on the cockroaches and ghost cockroaches and ghost termites?
Sure, why not?
Ghost roaches. Oh no, I've got ghost roaches. They're haunting my food? They're not really eating it, they're just haunting it.
And wouldn't the Orcan Man be the one who created them in the first place because he killed them originally?
No. If the Orca Man does it, since he also fights ghosts, he has ways of preventing ghost roaches from being formed, or ghost termites. That's why you have to get him, because other exterminators will create them.
This is Metal Teeth Washington all over again?
I'm expanding the lore of the Orcan Man into Ghostbusters.
No, because we had like a 2-hour conversation of the other one.
Robo Lincoln and Metal Teeth Washington.
And they're time traveling
with Freedom the dog and other like
we get into weird conversations if you haven't noticed, people.
Mm-hmm. And other cybernetic presidents taken throughout time in order to fight the injustices of something that we'd come up with that was stupid. Anyway.
Oh, God.
So, Ghostbusters. It's Ghostbusters. If you don't know about Ghostbusters, look up Ghostbusters or watch the original Ghostbusters because that's the best one, or watch some of the other Ghostbusters movies because they're the second one's pretty good. The remake,
or watch the cartoon.
Watch the cartoon definitely for this one. That I would highly recommend. The real Ghostbusters, as it's called, because
no. You want to just go for Ghostbusters.
Go for the Hanna-Barbera one.
Yeah, that's just horrible. Mm-hmm. And has a gorilla on their team that's smarter than them people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look, it's Magilla.
It wasn't Magilla.
Oh, whoops.
I forget what his name was, but it wasn't Magilla. Magilla's a separate cartoon. It's Magilla Gorilla for sale. We got a gorilla for sale.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
God, I didn't know too much about this stuff.
Yes, but it's fine.
My brain hurts now.
Except the brain hurting. You are one with the brain hurting.
It's caused by you.
I wasn't going to deny that.
And myself sometimes.
I Again, I wasn't going to deny that I cause you the most pain and suffering. I do my best.
Well, do you know what I have to say about that?
What?
Kana.
Ah, yes. Let's move on to our next topic.
But with a topical twist.
I mean, it's very... is it supposed to be like... They're saying South American, Central American, but I don't know if it feels like that. When I hear Kana...
Yeah, well...
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
When I hear that, it makes me think Hawaiian, because it's got the weird, like, apostrophe kind of thing going
yeah,
for it.
But I mean, the artwork is definitely Central American.
Yes, so maybe I know less about Central American than I know when I would think about, like, the native Central
I know
American.
less than I know.
Like, native Central Americans. Like,
I
Aztecs.
just like I know less than I know, Matt.
I mean, it's not an inaccuracy.
Well, how would you know less than you know?
Magic? Possibly
I
of
guess
the gathering.
You forgot stuff.
Possibly of the gathering variety.
So you're building a pyramid for the ages in Kana.
Yes. I mean, you can continue with this, I guess, if you want to. I was just going to go into more insanity, but that's just me.
Because you're insane in the membrane.
Insane in the brain. There's an old reference for you.
Insane, got no brain.
Oops.
Yes, as I bring us back into more insanity.
Ah, come on! I'm just trying to like get the image set up here for the stream, and it's fighting me. It's fighting me.
It doesn't like you.
Kana is fighting me tooth and nail. There we go. It's fine. It's on fire.
It's still good.
So,
it's still good.
So it's recently announced. It's coming out in March. Supposed to be 20-minute gameplay, 2 to 5. You can indeed already download the rules, which is very nice. WizKids is good about that. So you can take a look at all the rules. It's 50 cards, 48 tokens, and the rule book. So it's a very simple game. It's going to be $20. So that's actually the Mayan. It's Mayan for Divine House as Kana.
Huh.
So we're Mayan. We're going. Oh my god. It's a push your luck game, though.
I'm sorry, I had to go there.
Yeah, where you're trying to build the most perfectly pyramid, which would be kind of a block pyramid rather than a sloped pyramid because you're Central American, but still trying to build the best one.
Technically, step pyramid.
Okay, step pyramid. Thank you very much.
Well, all pyramids have blocks in them.
We're going to build the best one that lasts for ages to win the game.
I'm sorry, I'm building only to last till Tuesday.
Okay. Well, then, I mean, you're not going to win then. It has to last the ages.
But I'm going to destroy yours on Monday.
I mean, good luck on that. It's a pyramid, so, I mean, and
I hired some gangsters.
We're Mayans. They're Mayan gangsters? How many did you hire? We're Mayans, and they're Mayan gangsters. I mean, they can't be like that many of them.
I hired some time-traveling Italians from the future
who
have some dynamite.
They're just messing with time. Jesus. Then they're going to take your stuff, too, because they're gangsters and from the future, and we're
No, because I already gave them my gold.
Oh, you gave them
off your pyramid.
You gave them all your gold? That's not great. When are you going to do that? That's why we kept your jade?
Well, after we blow up your pyramid, we're going to steal your gold.
I already used my gold to build the pyramid. You kidding me? I don't have any gold.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. You're screwed. You're screwed, man.
Well, I guess I'll have to steal their time machine, go back in time before I paid them my gold, steal the gold back.
Alright.
Ha. Yes, before we go even worse.
We haven't?
We're insane, and yeah.
So you went lighter blocks on top of heavier blocks, and you must always match icons, and there's a lot of things you have to do to balance out the pyramid you're building, and without going too far, and having good enough value.
Well, that makes sense. You don't want to put a heavier block on a lighter block and crush it.
No. And, it is 2 to 6 players, and depending on how many players they tell you to remove a number of jade tokens, it looks like. Or cards or something. I'm just quickly like checking setup here. Basically, it's how many points you get at the end.
Yes.
And that's
points are good.
Mm-hmm. The usual kind of thing. Points.
At the end of the game, you score the value of cards not supporting other cards. Minus the Jade tokens you have left, the player with the least points is the winner. So actually, points are bad.
Yeah. Once the game is over, you do final scoring. Every card that is not supporting another card scores its face value. Once you've scored all your cards, you subtract your remaining Jade tokens, and the lowest score wins.
Yeah. So points are bad.
Yeah. Interesting enough, yes, points are bad.
So use all your blocks.
And get like a very high pyramid with a very low number at the end.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Blew my nose and it was not a good blow of my nose.
Okay. And then dance.
So, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, a board game.
The points.
Kuana. It's kind of interesting little game. I feel like it would be fun to try out. Experiment with.
Seems like a simple game. It's about 20-minute time, so it's not long.
It's not a bad price, too, so it's a press your luck game, and those are always pretty fun.
And we're over 14.
I mean, that's true. Physically, we are. Mentally, I have no clue. I think we're just awful mentally.
I think we fluctuate mentally.
That could be true.
Our brains are in a mental or a
exactly
time flux. Our brains are in a time flux is what I was going.
Okay, I was going to go with exactly for whatever you were talking about. Hope for the best.
42.
I mean, that's also accurate. So, let's
next
move on
one.
to Techno Noir, which sounds interesting.
It sounds interesting, but when I read it, it sounds like a slightly less ruined version of... When I say ruined, I mean like in bad shape, like cities in bad shape and stuff, of like Cyberpunk and stuff, and those kind of games.
Because it's supposed to be combining like your actual like noir games with like futuristic sci-fi, which is something that I guess we have seen in the past in like media and stuff, but I don't know if we've necessarily seen something because we don't get a lot of noir games in RPGs.
No. But I would say to a point, they're in like Cyberpunk, and I never can remember the one you love, even though I played it a bunch of times. Shadowrun. They have noir aspects to them, and you can play them in a noir way.
Oh, no, yeah, I agree. You could definitely take one of those worlds and definitely play a noir game as a thing. It's sort of like in D&D, you can play a lot of other genres. You can go like pirate. You can go simple. You can go very Indiana Jones type adventure. You know, more than just your average, dungeon crawl. There are a lot of different routes you can take to add genres to it, but like one that's specifically written to cater to that genre, no. And I feel like that's what they're trying to do because they're doing like a plot mapping approach that's like new to like kind of put together the scenarios you're doing.
I think it has some similarities to those games, though.
Yeah.
But I think that's just, it's also a tech-based game.
And the thing is, they technically have had something out before. It's now that we're bringing it up because, like, it's getting a more formal production. Like, Dream Machine Productions, they're producing more of the game. So they're probably going to, like, they had their Kickstarter release. They had some things that they've put out. But that was back in 2001. So it's quite a while ago. So now
I'm looking at the character sheets.
And
very open layout.
And the expansion they had introduced a guidebook to having games on Mars. So being very, like, I guess, Total Recall. And mechas. Being very more anime than anything. But there are some mechas in Western literature, too. Just not as many as anime.
The game sheet does remind me of oh god, my brain is really dead today. You just said the name a moment ago.
So apparently they didn't fulfill some from some stretch goals, the company that had it originally, and things have laid kind of bare for 6 years, and now this new company is taking it over, and they're getting the core rule book back out. They're revamping the website. They're doing new supplements. So they're taking and probably taking the original ones.
Okay, and they have the player's guide, the character sheets, and Twin City Metroplex, which I think is a small adventure for free download. So maybe this is one of the ones we could try when we start up the new Sunday show.
Yes. So like the major release is happening, re-release I should say, is happening on January 1st. But it's sort of like this company is taking it over, they're trying to rebuild it. And that's actually not far away if you think about it. So they might have taken over the rights for it some time ago and they're finally announcing it at this point in time. And it looks like they're coming out with a couple little books and maps and stuff already associated with it. So that's cool. Yeah,
then let's see, their basic stats are coax, detect, fight, hack, move, operate, prowl, shoot, and treat.
Neat.
Everything else on the sheet seems to be, added in per character. There's no... so that's why I was saying it makes me think of also the game I can keep slipping out of my head, even though you just got Shadowrun. Because the sheet looks a lot like that. I think you could agree if you're looking at that.
I'm just happy to hear that they're actually planning to finish all the stuff that was promised to the Kickstarter people and give it to them.
Yeah, that's very good. I'm interested in trying this. I love the noir genre.
Yeah, and sci-fi noir. Again, it's like we've seen it before, but we've not seen it in role-playing games. Like, I think... Isn't, oh my god, I'm so blanking out on it. It just had a sequel more recently. It had... Oh, Indiana Jones actor. Oh my god, I'm blanking out on so many names today. Blade Runner.
Sure.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner 2020.
But wasn't that technically very techno-noir?
Yeah. Yeah, I would
sci-fi
say
noir. So. And, Harrison Ford, oh my god. At least I remembered them and didn't fail at that. It just was like my brain was blanking out on both of those right away.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of those days. I'll report, if I'm having problems, it's because my sleep schedule was awful. I went to bed at 7 o'clock last night, woke up at midnight, couldn't get back to sleep for like 3-4 hours, and then got like 2 more hours of sleep. So my sleep schedule was
Why did you go to bed at 7 o'clock?
I just dozed off.
Okay, so you fell asleep. You didn't go to bed.
I fell asleep, and no one woke me. So when I woke up at midnight, I'm like, what?
Yes, now I understand, but I'm just like, when you say went to bed, that makes it more sound like you purposely tried to go to sleep at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, so that could have been awful. I could have. That would have been awful.
I need to step away for a second.
Okay, I'll introduce the next thing.
I will let you continue, and I will be back very quickly.
All right, so that is techno noir. Why don't we move on, though, of course, as we usually do, because we have a couple more topics to handle, and we do want to get into our reviews and all our other segments before we run out of time here. We're doing pretty good on our timing, though. Let's talk about the Here's Negan board game. So, it seemed like today I was doing a bunch of licensed material that was coming out, so I felt like this one that was being talked about was appropriate to discuss as I get this image set up for you folks to see quickly and efficiently. I really should do a system of, like, setting up images ahead of time, but There we go. Here's Negan. It's Walking Dead. It's exactly what you think about. It's the untold story of how Negan and the Saviors cleared the sanctuary. So effectively, it's a cooperative / competitive game for up to 5 players. It's all about Negan becoming the tyrannical ruler of the Saviors. So it is a prequel to stuff that is in the Walking Dead. Wow, that was great there. So it's got 19 incredibly detailed miniatures, 16 double-sided game tiles, dice, tokens to play. You take the role of one of Negan's lieutenants, and you're trying to win this favor of the despotic leader, and clear out Sanctuary of the Deadly Walkers, and then there's dangers between, and not just, zombies, as they call them in their world. So you do have to work together to clear the corridors and the abandoned factory, but that's only part of the mission. You also want to gain Negan's respect and get the most reputation points. So there is a lot of you have to succeed together in a way, but you could also because you could all fail together, and you have to clear the place. And it's very easy to clear. It's easier to clear the place as a group, but then you have to go against the fact that you want to get all the reputation. So it's definitely it's another interesting semi-cooperative game, as we've been talking about a few of them already today. Semi-cooperative games are always interesting like this one. So it is Skybound Entertainment and Manic Games are the two producers that are working together to put this out. Yes. And it's available now. So you're basically evil henchmen in the Walking Dead universe, which I think is a unique direction for a lot of these games. Most of the times you're just like survivors, whether or not you're taking on the role of the survivors from these shows / comics, or you're taking on the role of like ones that are created for some kind of reason for a zombie survival. I think this is an interesting direction for it, because it's effectively, you're the bad guys rather than just survivors. And it's more than just the surviving. It's like fighting your way to clear an area, to make it yours, so that you then can become the sort of villains that you want to be. But you're also trying to get, So it's a very interesting direction for a zombie game, I think. And that's one of the reasons that actually I did also want to talk about a little bit here. Because it is, again, with how we've been talking about a bunch of licensed things today, a licensed property, definitely. Because it's using, Walking Dead and Negan. But it's taking a lot of different routes than a lot of the other board games and products that have been put out in relation to The Walking Dead. That's why it's very interesting. Welcome back.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I was just finishing up a little bit of the talk about the Here's Negan board game, because it's very interesting because you're taking the role of Negan's lieutenants.
Yeah, well, it's also like it's also
semi-cooperative. Yeah.
Well, but it's also the fact that it's when they're setting up their the factory.
Yeah.
So it's taking place, way before we meet him in the comics and everything else.
Yeah.
It's how he, started everything.
And the thing is, because that's the basic story without a lot of story. It's in that perfect zone of like, this is your version of the story kind of thing.
Right.
And it's very interesting because it's like, I'm bad.
You're kind of playing the hero who's actually a villain. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. And it's a different direction for like most zombie games anyway. Most of those are very, very survival heavy. This is probably closer to like the Zombies game, which is more elimination heavy.
Yeah.
So I think that's another reason why it's interesting. Semi-cooperative elimination definitely forms that there. Like, because that's the thing I know, like, if I would compare it to the Zombies game again, that's straight cooperative. Or not straight competitive,
Right.
All of you are doing your own thing you have to kill X number of zombies, get to the helipad first. This one is, you all have to work together to clear out the area, but who wants to be the right-hand man of your crazy, villain leader?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly face the wrath of Lucille.
If you mess up. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'm guessing if you guys fail to clear out the place, then you're definitely going to be,
Yeah.
That's everybody can lose is the thing. That's why it's semi-cooperative. Everybody can lose.
Or you might just get an iron to the face,
Maybe you'll get lucky with that.
Just melt some flesh.
Just melt a little flesh. So yeah, here's Negan. It is available now. It's definitely an interesting take for both a Walking Dead game and for the kind of genres of board games it hits into. Zombies, survival, and stuff like that. A little different take than you'd normally see.
And I think it's interesting also it's published by a British company.
Oh, it's which one?
At least where I found it's
Mantic Games or Skybound. Because both of those seem to be... Skybound Entertainment, I think, is the main publisher, but Mantic Games... Mantic Games...
Because I found it on Mantic's site, and it's in
Mantic's UK, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that's interesting, too. It's not even... It's not an American-based game. It's a...
Yeah, Skybound Entertainment is the one that's, like, the big publisher there, but they're multi-entertainment, and I think they're the people that... because they're responsible for Walking Dead, so they're working with that kind of thing there.
Right. I'm just saying I thought that was interesting, too.
Yep. Cool. Let's move on to our last main topic for today. Highlander, the board game, where I can do my bet. Wait. Highlander, the board game. There can be only 7.5.
What? Who's half? You have a little person that you're saying they're half, or did you cut someone in half?
Cut someone in half.
Is it their torso or their legs then?
Good call. I'm unsure. What part of a person would you leave for, there only being 7.5 Highland or immortals left?
It's their legs. They're just gonna kick some butt.
But are we really princes of the universe?
I will admit, I never watched Highlander.
I did not really know the movies. I knew more of the TV series because my mom watched it a lot because it was like, what was it? It was like Hercules and a bunch of those other ones on like Saturday afternoons, I think. And Highlander was one of them. I never
saw it either. I know what Highlander is. I
didn't actually watch enough of
it
with her to actually be able to tell you a lot about it, but I remember its existence and could no, I know that this is the movie with what's his face, who the actor I can't remember the name of.
I know Sean Connery's in it.
Yes, because Sean Connery's our main actor's
mentor.
The weird
part is Sean Connery doesn't play the Scottish Highlander.
No.
I think he plays the Spanish Highlander, which is wait a minute, shouldn't you be Scottish? Can we stop putting him in roles where his accent does not obviously fit the country of origin, and he doesn't try to do an accent. He just does his voice. So it's just that's confusing. That's just like Hunt for Red October. Mm-hmm. I'm the Scottish sounding Russian. It's wait, what?
Yeah. Christopher Lambert. That's who is our main Highlander, I think. I think? Yep, Christopher Lambert. Anyway, which then leads us into the franchise, but this is based more on the movie, not the TV series, which is the one that, had... My God, I don't know what the guy's name was.
What, for the film series?
For the TV series.
I mean, a TV series. Here, I have IMDb. Let's see.
Adrian Paul.
Yes. Adrian Paul was, Duncan MacLeod.
Mm-hmm. Another of the MacLeods, but a different one than the normal MacLeod, because apparently, MacLeods. MacLeods!
Oh no, MacLeod's raining.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm sorry. Bad joke.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I was going somewhere with this.
Wait. I just had to say this. Sean Connery's character was Ramirez. Because when I think Sean Connery, I think Ramirez.
We all think Ramirez. Whatever. Anyway. So it was done by Riverhorse. I think we've talked about it before doing stuff, and they did a Kickstarter campaign for Highlander based on the popular series, but I don't know if it's just the movie series or otherwise. And I didn't know Queen did like part of the soundtrack, but the Queen did a lot of stuff, so good on them. I mean, I can't get the Flash Gordon theme is awesome, and it's just for such a bad movie.
Now you're gonna get that stuck in my head just by mentioning it.
Flash! Oh! Savior of the Universe.
I thought it was Master of the Universe.
Savior of the Universe, because Master of the Universe is He-Man.
Oh, you're right.
Look, I do it badly with songs too. You know that for a fact.
You do anything badly?
Mm-hmm. So it's a 2 to 6 player game. Which you take the role of immortal warriors, and you live throughout centuries preparing for the gathering, a time in which they were drawn to distant lands to fight to the death for the prize. And there can only be one.
What's the prize?
I don't know. So
is it a unicorn?
I hope so. So the characters are Connor, Ramirez, Castigar, Facil, Namanaga, Talia, and the Kurgan. I'm sorry, can we have, like, normal names for these? They might be immortals, but I'm pretty sure some of them came from countries that would have, like, pronounceable names.
No, he's the Kurgan.
The Kurgan. The Kurgan!
He looks like a barbarian, so he might be rather...
Yeah.
Like, if you look at his character card, he's wearing some kind of skull as a helmet. And either feather or furs. Oh. I can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
He looks kind of ridiculous.
Yep. So
and he's vicious.
Here's the character sheets, game tokens, a bunch of cards, a game board. It's got 10 dice. 2 sets of D4s, D6s, D8s, D10s, and D12s. No D20s?
D12s?
Mm-hmm. I would have wanted some D...
Can the Zulu actually have a name?
Doesn't he?
No, he's just called the Zulu. Oh, wait, no. Oh, there it is. Sandra Castigar. Okay, that makes more sense. I just saw the Zulu. And I'm like,
Castigar.
Really?
That's his title. He is the Zulu. So it is 2 to 6 players. So, out of all the players, you're only having 6 out of all the characters. They got extra. Yay. It's supposed to be at least 15 minutes.
Juan Sanchez Lobos Ramirez, also known as Peacock.
They have one expansion for the game, too. Yes. Princes of the Universe expansion. It gives you alternate versions of all the characters from the original game as new cards, and new cards to expand your collection.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they got a bunch of new cards, so I guess that's... The thing is, if it was just the miniatures and the cards, I would have been like, why? But it is 55 extra cards of Arrow, Fate, Encounter, and Weapon cards. So good on them to actually have something else in amongst there that would make me say, hey, maybe you'd want to get it.
I'm just looking through the character cards.
My God, this made me look up Highlander, the franchise, and, the things that are in here that I like. I'm like, wow. Wow.
Ayman Facil, Knight. On to Doom and Salvation. Well, which is it, sir? Doom or Salvation? You can't have both.
There was a Highlander CCG.
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently video games. And I totally didn't remember the anime film. I remember I saw it, but I forgot that it even existed. Ugh.
I mean, I could see video games, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The CCG surprises me a little bit.
The anime film, back when it came out, wasn't terrible. It's just not great.
Oh, and the Kurgan is named Victor. He doesn't have a last name.
The Kurgan!
I am Victor, the Kurgan!
I feel like he's a pro wrestler with a sword. He's flexing with a sword, I'm going to put you in a headlock and then sword you.
Well, that's better than the knight. That's better than the knight who's dressed in a business suit carrying a sword and sunglasses.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Because that doesn't seem suspicious. You see a guy walking down the street in a business suit with a sword.
I mean, it sounds about right. I'm just gonna keep saying that. God, yeah. I mean, it seems fine.
Yeah, it looks interesting, but again, neither of us really ever got into the movie or the series.
Yeah, it's like
so we can't say how accurate it would be to the source material.
I think my mom has it either. I think the entire Highlander series on DVD. I don't think she's ever watched it again, but she has it because she wanted it. But it's like it's one of those things.
I just say if you play Ramirez, you have to speak in Sean Connery's voice. Try and not do a Spanish accent.
I am perfectly fine with that having to be a rule. I'm sorry.
I'm Spanish.
I'm Spanish.
I'm Spanish.
I'm Spanish.
Anyway, enough silliness.
I'm Spanish.
Shaken,
not stirred.
Go shit up all you want, Trebek, but does it work?
Yes.
Anyway. Enough of bad Sean Connery voices.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Is there ever enough bad Sean Connery voices?
I'm just laughing. Look, I brought up the Highlander IMDb for the movie, and just seeing Sean Connery jest as a Spaniard is making me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just doesn't even look right.
Yeah, no.
Like you don't look Spanish at all either. Just because you have a mustache and a little goatee-ish thing, and you're dressed in a Spanish uniform, it still looks ridiculous on Sean Connery.
Because we know he's very Scottish.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Sean Connery, what have you done? What have you done? Anyway, let's move on, though, to our regular segments. Okay, let's start with our newest regular segments, Deeper Discussion. How's that sound?
Can you have a new regular segment?
Sure, because if we have it more than once.
Yes, I know.
Our new segment.
But our new segment then will become.
We'll start with you, and we'll start leading with you. Because I'm bad with remembering names. The one that's at PAX Unplugged. I'll switch to the one I was going to talk about.
Well, which do you want to do? The one that we played at PAX Unplugged.
The one with the crater. The one with the crater.
Okay, that's because we are all three of the ones.
Because Comrade Frontline, as much as it's nice, we should talk about it definitely. But it's one that we
Frontline no comments.
Frontline no comments. We played it before. This kind of thing.
Yes.
So we had like an idea about it.
Okay, so this is Shifting Realms.
I'm going to find a picture for that for us to put up.
Yep, you can go to Soaring Rhino Games.
Yeah. So we had a chance to play Shifting Realms.
And here's the backside while he's looking up the picture.
Yep.
It is a very interesting game. It's 2 to 4 players, about an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
And it is...
Points competitive.
It's competitive, but I'd also call it kind of resource.
Yeah, it's definitely like a resource management game of a sort.
It's in the resource management genre, but it's also has its own kind of genre as well, I'd say.
Like time travel-y? Because the thing is just playing through it without like reading through a lot of the story in the main book. I didn't pick up on the.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's 100% time travel. It's different realms combining because, like,
dimensional.
Yeah, dimensional. Because when we played, we had the dwarfs,
mm-hmm.
the
orcs, and the pirates. Yes.
So it's different realms
mm-hmm.
that are combining into it, and there's a total of 5 realms?
Yeah, 5 realms, and they're planning expansions for more realms. I remember we were talking to the guy about that.
Yeah, they're working on that, I believe. I don't think it's come out yet, the expansions.
I mean, I think, like, I can safely say about it, like, the rules did take a little bit for us to get complex, but having the creator there to help us really helped a lot.
Oh, yeah. And the creator was Jeff Van Ness.
Mm-hmm. He was a great guy to talk to about the game.
And he designed it with his brother, Craig Van Ness.
Mm-hmm.
Craig we met earlier in the day. He was the one who actually gave us the game to try out.
Yep.
And we happened to... Jeff happened to run into us, seeing us trying it out, and offered to teach us how to play.
So it was a very interesting circumstance with it. How long do you think it took us to play? Maybe like with learning all the rules,
about an hour and a half, I'd say.
With hour and a half in between there.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad with learning the rules for the first time.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be about an hour-long game.
Yeah, it's not this particularly short game. What's it, like 2 to 4 players?
Yeah, 2 to 4 players, and ages 10 plus.
Okay.
This game just came out this year.
Yeah, so it's a very new game.
And it has meeples. It was interesting also talking to the designer, because we talking about the fact of how hard it is to create a game that has great components, but also keeping it in a price where people can purchase it. It is a $75 game, which but with the artwork and what you get, it's worth it.
I feel like it was very interesting. It had a mixture of because it's resource management, but it's also worker placement. So it's like both of those combined, because you have
tile placement.
And tile placement, yes, because you have your workers and your soldiers. And you place them around the board, and where you place them depends on what resources you gain. But each of those places that you place them, a lot of times you can then build tiles, which grant you both victory points and maybe other resources or special abilities. So it's a balance of and each type of board has their different sets of things. So the dwarves
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like the dwarves were mines, the pirates were all about raiding, which you could build pirate ships and go on raids to get some extra points and stuff. And then the orcs were all about fighting this, Troll King.
And also wood gathering.
Yes.
They're heavily invested in wood.
I built all the lumber mills, so I had all the wood in the universe, which didn't help me in the end. But it was not so far of a game that didn't sort of, but
no, we were still somewhat close. I mean, I can pull out the... Oh, wait, no, there's not a score sheet, so...
We wrote down the scores, yeah.
Oh, did we write down the scores?
I think we might not have written it down on anything like that. We have,
But I have, because it's just a score tracker that you keep track of through it. But
against the creator, we did a pretty decent job. When a creator of a game beats you,
he eked out the win.
I mean, it was still maybe a 10-point lead, I think, but
yeah.
It was still
still close.
It was not the worst game that we either of us could have had in comparison to him. So that's one of those things about when you play against the creator of a game, you have a disadvantage anyway because he knows the game better.
But the nice part is the fact that there are multiple boards. It's going to be a different setup every time.
And then and you can't really just strategize on one of the boards. It seems like you have to have at least an investment in couple of the boards.
That was my problem. Was I heavily invested in one area and didn't invest in one of the other areas at all, and that made a difference for me. I would have been much closer to winning if I would have had not gotten so many cards from the one realm.
Yeah,
and got an actual dragon card and built 2 things. I actually might have won. There were
some differences that were very interesting that definitely made a difference overall, I would say.
Yeah, but it's definitely... The replayability is very high, I would say.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, the interest in the types of realms makes me definitely want to see about picking up the expansions and trying them out and trying out the other realms,
when they come out.
Yes.
Because, like I said, I don't think they've officially come out with anything more, because... It's such a new game.
I think, he was talking about it, and I think they're in production of it, the first expansion. They probably are
planning a couple of them. Go to their website real quick.
Sure.
Go to their shop. One while I do that, though, I do want to say it definitely was a lot of fun. I would highly recommend this game.
Oh, yeah, no.
I'm interested in seeing how the other realms play out, because we haven't only gotten a chance to play it once.
Yes.
So, I want to see what the other aspects are.
Yeah, no. I definitely would like to check out the other aspects to see how they mechanically work. The aspects that we all saw, the dwarves, the orcs, the pirates, they were all fun to play. I can say, all of them had very interesting mechanics that once you kind of understood the mechanics, were fun.
Yeah, apparently, this is the only thing they have in their shop right now is actually Shifting Realms.
I think it's their first product for the company.
Yeah. I thought at the booth they had something else. I think that's going to be coming out, and maybe they would.
They might have been previewing it because there's a lot of places that preview like new things that are coming out. I feel like Shifting Realms is their big flagship title at least right now.
Yeah, and the nice part is they're actually local for. They're only a state away in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pirate Tricks is the other one.
Okay, Pirate Tricks.
I knew I saw another one. The Pirate Tricks is the other one, but it's not in their shop at the moment. And Shifting Realms Darkness Revealed is coming in 2019. That's what they want to talk to us about at some point. That's going to be the expansion.
Okay, yeah.
Which will lead to a possible 256 board layouts. Because there's 3 new realms that'll be coming out with the Darkness Revealed.
Cool. That's actually that definitely puts it up more. Like 8 realms. I wonder how many they can get up to. That's a good question.
Yeah, and it says build towers that feed demons and take control of fierce gargoyles. So we have demons and gargoyles to look forward to.
Okay. So like demons are all about the towers and probably like, those kind of buildings, gargoyles. We'll have to see how they play out. Because the thing is, like, again, we still have to play with the other 2 to see how they play out with, so I definitely would like to experiment. We should try it some of these nights. I don't know if Hana would be up for it, but we should try it at some point.
I'm sure she should try it.
Yeah, that was a very fun one. We should definitely do more Shifting Realms.
Yeah, but again, we'll try to see, maybe at some point we can see if we can get a setup to stream a game of it. At some point, I'm saying that would be nice to actually maybe have a live preview of it. But
getting live previews of games is something I've considered in the past, but I know it's a very difficult thing.
It's just a matter of getting the setup done for us.
And I don't have a very good camera.
I have a couple digital cameras that we could probably use. It's just I don't have stands, and that's what we need. So once we have stands, that might help. Also, getting everyone to be fine with being on camera.
Finding a group of people that you can, which we don't have a lot of people that are really necessary. Like,
because right now we just do our streaming through tabletop, and I know this isn't on. Well,
I think we could probably get like Blaze, maybe James, because Blaze does stuff with me online, and I don't know if he doesn't really have like the camera set up, and same with James, but they might be up for it.
Yeah,
but
and maybe at some point we actually can do a live, an actual interview in person with these 2 guys.
Oh yeah, I would love to go and like.
It's not out of the realm since it's close by.
Well, it's like I figure like with some of these people that I've been looking into, I'm probably gonna have to record interviews with them and then put it up on the show, like put it up over us for a second or something, like here's our interview that we had with the guy, because like Aldrich contacted me about one of their new things because I'm on their media list now, and they schedule interviews, and I looked into those interviews, and none of them are on Saturdays. So I'd have to schedule an interview for during the week at some point in time, record it, and then just show it to you guys here. This is my interview I had with him talking about his things.
Right. I do want to do. I know we put up their website before, but I do want to put their website up again for Story and Rhino.
Yes, thank you.
Give them another shout out.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, highly recommend the game.
Yes.
We are very much anticipating the release of the expansion, because that seems like it's going to be interesting aspects to add, and trying this game many more times.
No, yeah. We had a very good experience with it. like, I feel like just going by the rules, we weren't having too much of a trouble with the rules when we started, but I feel like it did. Rules are always one of those things that is like can be very hard to put problems in, and I think there are some certain details we might have missed. Like we'll talk about it later on today. We tried the Star Trek Galactic Enterprises, and we missed some important things in the rules.
Yeah, I don't think we missed anything really.
We wouldn't have because we had today for this one, but we might have is what I'm thinking. We might have if we didn't have him.
If we didn't have him, we might have, but because we had him, I don't think we did. But also the first time going through a game, you're not going to realize some of the aspects of I should have done this.
Well, true.
The first time,
and
I think that's what we experienced was we should have strategized a different way.
Well, those things always occur. I was thinking more for like rules understanding because they do have a level of complexity to them. They're actually not too bad.
No, they're not overly complex. But
fortunately,
it did help to have the creator there for the first playthrough to give us.
I think that's one of those things about the game is you very easily could run into it on your own, but maybe like getting some experience. They might have things of like looking it up online, stuff like that could always help out, especially for those first games. And this is one that I maybe don't like. I suggest that if you feel like you're getting a little confused by the rules, do it, but you probably won't need it. There are definitely games that I would highly recommend watching someone play online to learn about it. Or like looking up some like help with tutorials for rules. There are games I can suggest that. This is one that I think you could probably get away without it, fortunately. It's not super simple, but it's not so complex. Like, unfortunately, it comes down to also like learning what tiles are good and what you want to build.
Right.
And that's just that's experience with the game, you know.
Yeah, that's just playing it a few times to really understand.
Yep.
How to play it properly.
They get those experience. All right. Frontline no comrade or comrade?
Frontlines no comrade.
All right, let me switch.
Here it's by Anvil 8 Games. Here's the link. And it's a small card game.
Yes.
It is a line manipulation game where you have a character and you're basically being pushed towards the front lines as incoming fire happens.
Yeah, you're basically behind it. You're
behind the commissioner. Or
the commander.
Commander, which is also known as the commissar.
The commissar. It's very like, dictatorial.
It's Russian.
Actually, like Russian kind of thing.
Yeah, it's basically, like the Soviet bloc.
Mm-hmm.
And there's cards that come in. You have cards that you can play to try to manipulate the line. And every round there's cards that come in that are attacks on the line.
Yeah. And it's moving people around, moving yourself or others around the line, providing cards that might give you defenses against certain things, whether they're temporary or permanent. So it's like every turn you play a card and do different things. Like
there's 38 incoming cards and 52 action cards.
When we played it together, which we just did 2 people, which I think I'm unsure about our last one if
we did a few things, I think, a little off.
Well, no. I mean, the last game we're talking about, if 2 players is, like...
2 players, you can do it.
Shifting Realms, yeah. Shifting Realms, I'm not sure.
Shifting Realms.
And
Shifting Realms 2 to 6.
Yeah, like 2 to 6.
We haven't done 2 people on that, so we don't know how well the 2 is on this. But on this one...
This one, the 2 was...
2 to 8 players. 2's okay...
It's like playing Munchkin or Guillotine with 2 players. It's okay, but it's not great.
Right. But it is a quick game. It's only 20 minutes.
It wasn't a long game. That's very true. And line manipulation games aren't bad. It's all about being the last one to not take as much damage. And unfortunately, when we were playing, my character ended up with a lot of advantage because we were getting mostly, not all of them, but a lot of line attacks, and I took less damage from line attacks.
Yeah, and the funny part was I had the character at the most health,
but we were both taking a bunch of damage, and because I was reducing it by so much,
I was the Russian bear.
I would think I was the cosmonaut.
Yeah, you were the cosmonaut.
Yeah.
Sergey. I was Oxna. There's a whole bunch of different characters.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of different characters, and you like each of your characters has different abilities, which can help you a lot. So it's like, I think it's like,
yeah, there's like there's an old grandma character that can swap hands once per game.
Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting abilities. I mean,
each character has its own special ability. Like I said, the bear just gets the most HP, max HP, which is 12. So it's like I could take a lot of damage.
I think it's an interesting game, definitely. Like, mind manipulation games are always fun, but like, you know, because like I think I've always had a good time with Guillotine. And that's like the main line manipulation game that we ever have a chance to play.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of line manipulation games that we've played.
No.
So it's interesting to have another one in that realm. It's definitely enjoyable. It's only a $20 game, and each game's going to be different depending on the characters you have and the people you have. So it's definitely replayable. And
the attack cards will totally change how it is, because the fact is,
like, the incoming and attack cards.
Yeah, the incoming, because they're basically telling you like, it's coming to this location, and it's doing this at that location. And that can make so much of a difference. Yeah, and it makes so much of a difference, you know, the kind of attacks, where they're coming from, what they're doing. And, you know, so it has a lot of replayability. It's a lot more complex, I will say, than something like Guillotine, which is, I just want people to be in the front.
Yeah, and they just did come out with an expansion for it as well. Let me see if I can.
Please do.
See what it was.
Since you were the one that majorly chatted with them.
Yeah, talked to them and everything. But okay, here we go. Frontline. I can't find it on their site, so I'm not sure
what's their company called?
It's Anvil 8 Games. I had the link in the chat. I know they had something there, but it might not be officially out yet.
That's true. It might be something that they're working on. You know, it was...
But I know that there is an expansion coming out for it.
They might have been showing it off at the place too, you know, more than actually like... it's like, we were coming out with this.
Yeah, and they have other games too that... it looks like they mainly do card games, from what I am seeing on their site.
Yeah.
Let's see, store they have... Anthem is their other... Antherum is their other big one.
Ooh.
Which, they have a bunch of stuff out for Antherum.
Well, I think that's probably their other big title then.
Yeah, that was probably their main title before they came out with Frontline, I think. Which, that looks like... Oh, actually, that looks like it might be... Horror Collective. Yeah. It looks like they've had this out for a while. And they even have big box sets of it and everything. So, yeah, it's another...
Okay, I do see a picture. I managed to find a picture of their one expansion, which is Oxna Bears All.
Ah, okay. I knew there was another... Thank you. I knew there was another thing. I just couldn't find it for some reason.
Yup. That's their bear apparently going like bare naked, but it's a bear, so I mean,
Well, did he take his collar off? Because he had a collar.
Yeah, he had a collar and a hat, and apparently his both off.
Ooh, he's bare naked.
Yes. That bear.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did not have a lot of time to try games there.
No, so we these are the two that we managed to get around the PAX Unplugged, but we did want to talk about a few more games that we've managed to try since then, because we do have a list of games. We have a few more games that we want to try out that we've been given copies of and stuff like that. But
I guess I'll finish up with you real quick.
I can do mine. We just have a chance to switch between them.
Okay, that's fine.
Let me open up the thing for the New Experience Workshop here. Because, so I went to New Experience Workshop, and they basically had stocking stuffer games. Now, we've only had a chance to try one of the three of them. But I think we had a pretty good time here with Sewing Circle. Surprisingly.
Yes, it was actually rather difficult.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing about it. It had a pretty good challenge to it, which was more than I actually was expecting for something as simple as it was. So it's the Stocking Stuffer collection, which they were showing off then, which was on the Kickstarter. So they're right now fulfilling the Kickstarters for it. So you're not really necessarily going to find it out and stuff, but you can look into their website when they're gonna, release it formally to the public. They were selling them at separately at PAX Unplugged. So I mean, it is something that they are getting out there. So this is just their...
Which we've seen before. Last year, I picked up that one Epic game.
Yeah.
That was originally did on Kickstarters.
So we haven't tried Pocket Pitch Golf or Oscar Bait, but basically I got all three of them from them as just a test sample. And I got Sewing Circle. It's a very simple game about card manipulation. Ribbons. That's all it is. And everybody chooses a color, and you have to keep your ribbon, the colors matching. Basically, each ribbon has two sides, and so the ribbon bends and twists as it goes around in a circle. And each turn, you flip over a card in the circle, whether next to one of the cards that's there or across the circle, so the circle starts to build out, and then you have to make sure all the ribbons are matching along the way. And if a tangle occurs, you're in trouble. And two ways you can get rid of it are to exchange two cards that are next to each other, or to exchange a card from your hand. And my God, it's a thinking man's game, because there was that one turn I thought I was screwed, and then all of a sudden that second I saw the solution, and it was like, holy crap, I can survive,
And then there was the one round I knew I was dead.
Yeah, because you got to that point in time where you had three problems and you could solve two.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to screw both of you over, and I actually ended up helping you.
Yeah.
And screwing over my fiancée, Hana.
Yeah. Because the thing is, it was
sorry, sweetie.
Your problems were, spread across the board, too. When things are adjacent to each other, it's much easier to fix, but when they're, spread out... No, and the thing is, you can tie, because I was, looking into the rules. If you get to the point in time where, on my turn, all I need to do is swap two cards to stay good, and everything is, flipped over. And then the other person can swap the same two cards to fix it, then you're just tied.
Right, because you're going to just be perpetually going back and forth doing the same thing.
Yeah, if there is, if, after X number of turns you cannot do something else to change the entire thing, that's it.
Yeah, it's simple, but very, very mentally...
Much more mentally involved.
More thinking.
The thing is, though, because it's so simple, it is better because you can just play it as younger children, and then they will just have fun trying to do it. They don't have to have a lot of thinking. But when we got to a group of us who are much more adults, we got into much more of a thinking game because we were what can we do to survive? I think that's one of those other things. Your younger child, you might be oh, I lost, ha 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 ha, kind of thing. We're what the hell can I do to go?
What can I do to stay alive? Must stay alive.
I definitely want to try Oscar Bait. I'm not as sure about the Pocket Pitch Putt.
I'm actually interested in that one.
Yeah, it's interesting how it is because of the nature of it. So we definitely want to try the rest of those out. But I did want to give a shout out to Sewing Circle for now because it was a very fun one. And I think if you're looking for at least one of the stocking stuffers, this is one I can definitely recommend. And the other two look really good. We'll try them and we'll talk about them too in the future here. But New Experience Workshop, I talked to him about a couple of...
Unfortunately, the Kickstarter just ended on the 7th.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, that's one of those things. It's hard to get to all of the things at PAX and talk about all the Kickstarters and stuff that were out there. There was a lot of them. We'll try to organize more of them in the upcoming weeks and stuff and talk about those things and the companies we've got in contact with more. But
yeah, I don't know what their original goal was because I'm on their old Kickstarter page, but they had 50 backers and raised $858.
Yeah, they only had a $550 goal.
Oh, I mean, so they made their goal plus some then.
This thing is probably not expensive to make.
No, I didn't think it was. I just didn't know what their original goal was.
That's the thing is, this is an awesome idea because it's a really simple game.
Oh yeah, because they actually made all their stretch stuff. They made a bunch of their stretch stuff too. It looks like
it's like a little pre-printed like a card case. Like an actual card case. Like normally, when I'd see like some of these things, it would be used for things like credit cards and stuff. Right. It's just that with like 14 or so cards in here. That's it. Yeah. So this thing, not difficult to make, and they made all three of them, but still really fun, little tiny game.
They're quick, fun, interesting games.
Which I thought the interesting thing, unfortunately, since the Kickstarter's over now, you can't really do it. But I thought the interesting thing about it was that they were talking about it, that if you wanted to get them all for different people, you could ship them all to different places.
Oh, that was nice.
Yes, so like if you had someone that you thought Sewing Circle would be awesome for, great, you could send it to them. Someone that you thought the Pocket Pitch Putt, go ahead. You could have it shipped to them for more Christmas. They actually did make it more like stocking stuffery. And the thing is, these are small player games. Sewing Circle's 1 to 3 players. You can play with yourself, trying to just have the challenge of, are the cards set up in such a way I can win it. I think there are some solo rules too.
Yeah, I think when it comes out, it's going to be still really affordable because the base pledge was $8 to get the full 3 games.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And then they even had some interesting stuff for.
Oh no! It was $8 for one of them. It looks like
for one copy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For 21 to get all 3. To get one of and 21. No, one copy of each. Okay, yeah. $8 is one copy of one of them. 21 is a copy of each, and you could have a personalized note with each one.
Yeah, and the thing is, the 21 also, you could get like 3 Sewing Circles or 3 Oscar baits or 3 Pocket Pitch Putt if you really wanted to. It'd give you collections, and then 39 was 6 copies. So
yeah, it was a double collection, which is cool.
I mean, it's not a bad price for something small and quick and simple.
Oh God, 72 is 12 total copies of games.
I mean, it puts it down to what, $6 a piece at that point in time, I think. So I mean, it makes it pretty cheap. I mean, it's not bad. Even $8 is not a bad price for something like this, just for something simple and quick.
Yeah.
And so, Sewing Circle, we talked about it. We'll try to talk about the other ones when we get a chance to actually play them. Why don't we go into the last game that you have?
Okay, so I had from WizKids.
Yep.
Star Trek Galactic Enterprises.
We finally had a chance to try that one.
Yes.
We talked about it here on the show previously.
It's a very interesting product manipulation.
Yeah, product manipulation is a good way of describing it. Definitely.
Because you're buying resources to resell.
Yeah.
And you're manipulating the price.
Yeah. It's like there's an auction phase at the beginning where different items are auctioned off, and you can either you think it's like you can pay for whatever you want for it. Like there can be competition for it. Oh my God, that was
well. Whoever is the auction person for that
the
round,
first player basically chooses the order of things going on.
I forget the name of it. It's
First clerk.
First clerk, yeah.
Yeah.
Gets to run the auction for that round.
Yeah.
Which they pick which card is going to be auctioned out of there's 4 cards in a line every round.
It's the number of players plus 1.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Number of players.
I think
plus
minimum
1.
was 3 anyway. So
yeah. And minimum player is 3, so minimum 4 cards in there.
Yeah.
You're gonna the auction goes around so everyone has cards, or there's no cards left in the auction because people can just pass and have a card discarded out.
Mm-hmm. So you can get nothing very easily.
Yes. And the auctioneer decides which cards are being auctioned in what order.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the action card.
Oh, that's right. The extra card is the action card.
Which is an action card.
Yeah.
Those are played face down. You don't know what you're getting when you bid on it. It has to be a minimum bid of one. The other ones have to be minimum bid of the price of the product, of the base price of a product.
Yeah. Like the first action card I got was awful and wasn't going to be helpful.
But some of them are very, very game changing.
Well, the thing is, it had a very good circumstance if it came up, but it didn't.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is they can be very game changing in the right circumstances. Like at that last round, you had. I
did the card where it switched. But basically, how the game normally works is people bid a price for each product that they own. And normally beforehand, you all like sort of agree to a price, but you can then put whatever you want from equivalent to the base value up to twice its value. And whoever bids lowest gets extra points and gets those points. Well, gets that money.
Get extra gold, press that note.
And whoever bids highest gets nothing.
Right, and the card he ended up playing.
I think people in the middle.
Earlier.
I think people in the middle are fine. You know that like,
people in the middle just get whatever they set their price for.
Mm-hmm. So like, if three people, like for us, if all three of us did a different price, only one of us would have lost the money. But I did something that I switched it over to everything. It was the opposite direction. So everybody that the highest got the extra points, and the lowest didn't get anything.
And that really set him for the win at the end.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Because he was able to max out everything he had.
Right at the last turn there, no.
And that last turn, most people are going to be bidding low to make sure they get bag points that last round.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, it was so subtle, and I'm like, and the thing is, like, I was thinking to myself, don't pick up on it, and your fiance did not pick up the fact that I switched everything to highest. Yes. She got a chance to look at my board before we actually did it and could have changed hers. And I'm like, the thing is though, I was thinking about it, I'm like, it's very easy to not pick up on that.
Yeah.
Even if you're looking at it.
Because you might think, oh, that person's just hoping everyone's maxing out.
Yeah. It's which is a strategy to have too.
Yeah.
But no, I was able to kind of screw everybody else from getting a lot of points the last round, and I got a bunch of them, which was actually enough. It wasn't. I don't think it was a huge win, but it was a pretty.
No, it was win. It was enough to secure it decently for you.
Yeah,
because I screwed you earlier since you had a monopoly. I was going to break up your monopoly on.
Oh yeah. And I had nothing left of the monopoly. Dabo machines, I think it was.
Dabo machines, yes. Which is a decently expensive product. So it's like, even the base was, I think it was a base 5 or a base 6.
I think it was 5.
Yeah, I think it was 5.
I was hitting that 5 market pretty good, kind of like
yeah,
that.
I had a couple 6s that I was monopolizing, and I was ahead most of the game because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But we also had messed up the rules, which we didn't realize because we messed up early on that we didn't realize the max was didn't get anything, and I was maxing out all the time.
Yeah, when other people that also had your product were minimizing, so they definitely would have, there was some changes that would have definitely made a big thing, because I was doing some of that early on. Though my synthol monopoly stayed the entire game.
You were Quark.
I was Quark until you stole my Dabo machines. Then I had to diversify.
Yes. Yeah, I was just replicating dilithium, apparently.
I mean, the game was
I had replicators and dilithium out the wazoo.
We both agree the game would have been much better with more people. The minimum was fine, but I think
more people would make it a lot more interesting,
because it makes the betting and the price messing around phase and the agreement phases a lot more important.
And it's up to 8 players.
Yeah, which is a lot. Now, granted, I think 7 or 8's a lot.
I think the prime place you want to be is like 5 to 6 players.
Yeah, probably. There's always like a prime
there's
place.
Special
for
rules when you have 7 or 8, and there's. So I think really the sweet spot is at 5 to 6 people.
Yeah. And so definitely, and I think that's another thing is you run the risk of people not bidding on things a lot more when you have more players, because then as soon as one thing goes away, then you have to worry about
will I get a card?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's one of those dangers of more players. When we had the 3 of us, we only faced that danger like once or twice. Like, there was one time that I was thinking about not bidding on something, try to get the action card, but I'm like, you might be willing to bid more points on that action card than me, or more.
Right, because you have to look at what people have money-wise, too.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, they could outbid me on substantially
on
this.
I had to say to myself, like,
it?
Am I willing to get this one item that you're not bidding on for just cheap and just take it, which then I'm getting in on one of your markets, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or go for the action card, which you most likely want more because of the point in R, but how much do I want it?
Yeah, because I think this first several rounds, no one went for the action card.
No.
No, Hana went for the one action card early on and didn't use it for a while, and so I think it was kind of like, ooh, is the action card really worth it? And then I finally bid on one and used it almost right away. And was like, oh, and it was the one you ended up playing at the end. And I'm like, these are actually powerful. So I'm going to try to start focusing, now that I have a decent base, on getting some more action cards to try to manipulate.
And I think the more players, it makes it more difficult for Monopoly too, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, also, I think we need to kind of pattern shuffle a little bit, because we just did a regular shuffle, and we had 2 products that never came up.
Mm-hmm. It just did
Tribbles and something else.
Yeah, but no, it was a very interesting game. I definitely recommend if you like a little bit of that. It's marketing.
I think it was only $25.
Yeah, it's not a bad price. Again, you can play it with 3 players, and it was fine. We both feel like 5 or 6 is probably the sweet spot you want to aim for number of players.
And if you love Ferengis like I do, it's a fun game. If
you like a little bit of like. I don't want to call it a marketing game because it has the marketing to it, but like it's the type of game where it is like
it's a manipulation game.
Manipulation game. It is a very big manipulation game. Yeah, where you're trying to manipulate the market in your favor and the money in your favor and try to win it out.
Yeah.
So it was very fun. All right, so cool. Why don't we move on to our next regular segment since we got our 4 reviews for today. Hey, we had a bunch of them. Let's talk about some Kickstarters. What do you say?
Sure, go ahead, because I did not really get a chance to find a good one yet.
Oh, if we don't have a good Kickstarter this week, because I didn't really have a great one this week either, per se, because there wasn't.
Maybe we could just skip that since we did do a bunch of game reviews.
Yeah, we're probably going to do less reviews.
We're not going to have as many reviews every week.
Yeah,
so I feel like maybe it'll be an alternating segment.
Yeah, because I feel like we'll try to mix our reviews, because we'll try to we're going to try stuff out both on our Saturdays that we can meet and do stuff, and also we'll probably try to things like I do want to talk about Evolution, but I'm thinking we can skip that till next week. So we got a chance to play the physical game.
Yeah, we did. If you guys missed it, we'll probably talk about it next week. Mm-hmm. Check it out on YouTube. We did do a tabletop of Evolution.
Should be up tomorrow or Monday. I'm catching up on my Discussing Tabletop, Sunday's Tabletop, and RPGs finally on YouTube. You should actually also still be able to see it here on Twitch, though.
Okay.
The VOD, I put a highlight up. I've been trying to put up highlights for all my tabletop content so that you can catch it all again.
Yeah, I unfortunately, I help him host. I do a little bit of the back planning, but he is the main head of the channel, and he handles all the postings.
Yes, because I gotta edit, post and stuff. Like, there's some like I actually would have finished posting some stuff last night, but I fell asleep. That month I fell asleep. That was the rest of Madness of the Land for Thursdays. I would have had it up. I've got to put it up today because I was asleep. And there's also 2 other things that I had scheduled that I would have messed around with the scheduling, which have already come out, which when I'm done this show here, I've got to put like thumbnails and stuff on because it's all like not great right now because it was technically never finished. I just had put them to today because I messed up on some scheduling on the previous day.
Right. As far as what we did in tabletop, we've already talked about everything I was involved in.
Yeah, because we all did experimental new games and we talked about them. I also did the Legacies of Kain and Madness of the Land. Legacies of Kain, they finally resolved their horrible, horrible time with the police officers. Samuel the Badgers. Samuel the Nosferatu had a car chase with a bunch of cops. Got into a car accident where he managed to get the car managed to survive the accident, where he kind of like partially flipped into a pub, but was managed to like back out and escape because at the same time the cops had also kind of crashed, and he used that as escape to try to get away from them. They mostly caught up to him because of that, you know. And then he managed to like drive in front of a freight train. And then he got off and leapt on the train to escape. It was epic.
Gotcha.
And the rest of the team, like, beat up some more cops and stole a cop car. And then stole another car, used that to go find Samuel, dropped that car off, like, in a ditch, went to, like, a local car rental place in, like, another city that they were close by to, rented a car, went to yet another city, stayed the day, and finally got home. Oh, my God. It was, like, this epic entire thing that they had created because they botched. It created like 2 sessions worth of madness with one botch. And stupid plans and result to it. But it were great plans and result to it. So it was fun. And then Madness of the Land, they continued to do with the orcs and the ogres. They totally killed the leader of the orcs that they were set to assassinate, and then they gave it to the ogre leader, and they were like, that was easy to make peace. And then they went and fought some, like, they're going and fighting undead. So, and they're not doing great about it, but they're doing okay. And it was fun. We left off right before combat. So, that was the week. But you can catch this all up on YouTube. If you're watching this on Twitch here, you can catch it up here on Twitch or on YouTube, either or. They're going to be both up there. As I said, I've made the highlights here that shouldn't go away, I don't think, which are the entire things. I just started doing them, so we'll see how they last. And then YouTube side. But anyway.
Okay.
Consult the table. Hey, if you guys have any kind of questions you want to ask us, you can ask us here in chat if you are live with us. On the YouTube, you can leave it in the discussions. You can throw it up to our Yahoo email, discussingtabletop@yahoo.com. You can reach us on either of our Twitters or Wyrm's Twitters when he's kind of around. Wyrm is on a hiatus for now, if you haven't noticed, our extra co-host. And you can also reach me on my Discord. Great places. All those places. Ask any kind of question, whether it's related to tabletop, RPGs, CCGs, board games, card games. If you want to ask something about some kind of like movies, TV, anything like that. Any kind of like nerdy question in that kind of realm. We'll take some questions. Anything you want to ask us, we'll help. You can consult us. We're here. Anyway. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for joining. Everyone have a great week, and tune in tomorrow night for some board game stream.
Yep, Sundays at the Tabletop. We're going to be figuring out what we're going to be playing. We're going to enjoy it. And we'll be back, of course, next Saturday for more Discussing Tabletop, where, you know, we'll have a great time. So, thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.